And how is it now that after the 10-year journey? So, what are the lessons that you've learned? So, if you can picture yourself 10 years ago, and now 10 years later, what were the key lessons that you've learned about yourself?
Well, a lot happened in the
Yeah.
last 10 years, so I will try to encapsulate. The first one is we are all a work in progress, which means that whatever change you are implementing, you are always in some way, shape, or form growing. Whatever problems you have right now, even if you are at a very difficult and dark moment, this moment is still a potential moment for growth, an opportunity for growth. Perhaps you can't take that opportunity right now. You're too much in the grip of the darkness at the moment, or the dark moment. But eventually, that experience may help you progress to something else or a new moment. And when you look back, you may say, okay, I feel a bit, for example, depressed right now, or I feel a bit anxious, but I'm not as I was a year ago, 6 months ago, 10 years ago. So we are all a work in progress. And maybe the second one, I can maybe describe this whole process of psychology and psychotherapy is that, like the Serenity Prayer, it supported me to have the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, have the courage to change the things I can, and have the wisdom to know the difference.
Okay.
So if we break it down, accept the things I cannot change. Now I'm 37, so I can't change to be taller, for example, to put a very simple example. So that part of growth I cannot change. But if there is something in my life which is happening, and maybe a conflict is happening very often with a colleague or a partner or a family, maybe I'm feeling disheartened when I'm trying something, or I'm getting frustrated with something else. These are all feedback mechanisms, feedback messages from life. So I can't be taller, but if how I am communicating with a colleague or with my partner is creating more arguments, then I can have the courage to try and change them. To maybe bring it together, to have the wisdom to know the differences, that I cannot accept, let me rephrase, if there is an issue with my partner, I can communicate my needs and ask them, listen, this is what I need, but I cannot expect them to change or try to change them. I can ask them, listen, it can be an expectation in the relationship that what's important for you is that you always grow as a couple, but I can't expect them to change completely from one day to the next. So I have to accept that they cannot change immediately from one day to the next, but I can accept that, okay, I accept that you will work on this as a colleague, as my partner, whatever. And then I have to have the courage to try and see how I can change or they can change. To have the wisdom to know the differences also. that certain things can change in a person and others may not. And this is something I see a lot in my clients and in life. We expect others to change. We cannot change others. The only person that can change is yourself. So, to connect it with a work in progress and acceptance, change, and wisdom, is that during this journey of psychology and psychotherapy, you become wiser on the things that you cannot change and the things that you can. And to close on this, in a way, sometimes you can't change how you feel in that moment. You will be sad. You will be unhappy at a certain point in your life. You will be disappointed by others. And in psychotherapy, we do it a lot. You can learn to stay with it a little bit without pushing it away. Because what you resist persists. And then you can stay a bit with it to process it, and maybe then you speak to a loved one or someone you trust. Or if it's something which you don't know how to go about it, you can go to someone professional, to a psychotherapist or a counselor or psychologist. So yeah, and then you can realize, but wait, no more excuses. This is something that I have to change, or my health will become worse, or I will lose this beautiful person in my life, someone that loves me or takes care of me, or I need to let go of this toxic person. So it's about fine-tuning when to do what. A toolbox. So, you know these big toolboxes?
Yeah.
So before I started the 10-year psychotherapy, I had a small box. Now I have a big box. And then when an issue comes up, I just open the toolbox and I use the right tool. Not necessarily immediately, perhaps, as well. Because I'm human, I have my difficult moments, I have my down moments, but it's not that bad in a way that becomes dysfunctional in my life, that it impedes me from living my life to the full or as best as